Good morning, everybody. This is Liz Schode, registered dietitian and director of clinical nutrition here at Jackson Purchase Medical Center, doing another Learning with Liz lesson today. So again, thinking about what a topic could be. You know what? The seasons are changing outside. And this sounds crazy, but people who have a type of disease called irritable bowel disease, or IBS, it flares up when the seasons change. And I know that's just the craziest thing, but it happens. You just see more people in the hospital, more people complaining about, oh, my colitis is acting up, that type of thing. So what can we do for IBS? So I'm going to kind of tell you what the definition of IBS is and what we can do diet-wise. Maybe that might help it. It may not, but everybody's a little bit different with IBS and how it affects you. But maybe just some little helpful tips for you. So, as I said, IBS stands for irritable bowel syndrome, in which it's a chronic or a reoccurring series of gastrointestinal symptoms that causes distress to a person's and to their gut. And this is really interesting. It's estimated that IBS affects 10 to 15% of adults worldwide. That's a lot of people. So a lot of people have issues with it. So as it says, there's no specific known cause that makes a person have IBS, but there's a lot of things that can contribute to it, such as genetics, certain mental health disorders, food sensitivities or food intolerances, sometimes an infection, or just a change in a person's intestinal bacteria can cause a flare-up with this. And like I said, certain foods can trigger it, actually. So, there are some things that a person can do to help themselves if they have IBS. And usually the symptoms are cramping, major diarrhea most of the time. Sometimes it can also cause a person to vomit. But it's just a lot of pain in that colon, and it can have an infection. I mean, diverticulitis is another little thing that can kind of happen. But IBS causes a problem called colitis, and that can be an inflammation of the colon, which can cause an infection. So it's all kind of crazy. So as I said, some of the symptoms of it are abdominal pain, cramping, constipation or the diarrhea, bloating, gassiness. So there's a lot of different things that can cause, or symptoms, I guess, if a person has IBS. So what can we do? So a biggie thing is stress. How many of us have stress in the world? There's a lot of us who have stress, but the nerves that are in the colon and thinking of how our body handles stress, they're kind of connected. And if somebody has just a real stressful situation, it can flare up that IBS. Kind of crazy, but it can. And then diet-wise, there are some certain foods that can trigger it. High fatty foods is a big thing that can trigger it. Also, with some people, they can't do, say, the foods that are high in acid, maybe a tomato product or something such as that. Or eating like very large meals can trigger it also. So here's just a few little things that we can do. Establish regular eating habits. So, in other words, do a breakfast, lunch, supper, maybe a small snack, or even some small snacks in between, but just don't eat one meal a day. One meal a day just doesn't hack for many things. I mean, whether or not it's IBS or any other type of disease state, or just for good healthy eating or good healthy body, we need to eat a breakfast, a lunch, and a supper. Try to eat your meals at the same time of the day also helps. Try to have more small frequent meals rather than larger meals, because oftentimes when somebody has IBS, you eat those larger meals, it can cause a flare-up of that. And then eat foods rich in fiber. Fiber can be tough. I was talking this morning with a person about, she says, Liz, it's hard to get in 20 to 30 grams of fiber in a day, and it is hard. But if we can bump up that fiber intake, that can help with the IBS. That can help with constipation. That also can help with diarrhea. We also have to remember, if we bump up our fiber intake, you need to make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Also, because if you bump up fiber but you don't bump up your water, you're going to have more constipation issues. So kind of crazy with that. So, and you want to increase fiber slowly. If you just threw a lot of fiber into your body at one time, that's going to cause a lot of bloating and gassiness and some pain. So trying to, bump up our fresh fruit, our fresh vegetables, whole grain breads, whole grain cereals. Make sure the first ingredient listed is like whole wheat flour if you're trying to increase the fiber with your bread, instead of white flour and having caramel coloring added to it to make it brown. Sometimes that can happen with breads and you're not really getting that extra fiber. So that fiber, like I said, it just helps the food move through the colon better is what it does. So like I said, it's very important that you drink the water, but also then bump up the fiber. And then watch what you drink also. Things such as alcohol and caffeine can actually stimulate the intestines, which can cause some diarrhea. Also, some artificial sweeteners contain some alcohols, a sugar alcohol like sorbitol or mannitol, that can cause a person to have some diarrhea also. It's also found in a lot of, like, say, sugar-free candies and things such as that, sugar-free gum. So kind of have to be a little bit careful with that. And then there is a different type of diet. If somebody is having extremely problems with it, their GI doctor may suggest that they go on a diet which is called a FODMAP. Like, what the heck is that? But a FODMAP diet stands for fermentable oligonucleotide saccharides, hard words, disaccharides and monosaccharides and polyols. And it's kind of a short chain carbohydrate that might be found in some foods that think that might irritate the colon and cause the IBS. And then identify your foods and what's going on, of what bothers you. Keep a food record. Write down what you eat, breakfast, lunch, supper. And if something bothers you, write down beside that, had bloating or had diarrhea, that type of thing. And then that can help you see, what is it that I'm eating that might cause that issue. So that can definitely help a lot. So if you need any help with this, please, reach out to us here at Jackson Purchase Medical Center. My phone number is always attached to this. So if you have any questions about IBS or some further help with that, you can give us a call. I'll be glad to even send you some information in the mail or whatever. But I hope this kind of helps you a little bit know, what's going on with my tummy right now? And it could be that. It could be you have IBS. So, you might need to check that out with your doctor. So thanks for listening today, and if you have any questions or any topics that you might like us to discuss on here, just drop us a little note and we'd be glad to get back to you or use that topic for the next lesson. So thanks and have a great day.